Hey guys, welcome back to another charting video. Um, First of all, I think from now on I'm probably gonna start recording Mondays and Fridays, for these charting sessions. Just because trying to do them every day, it's a little tough for me. And I can make better time, from Mondays and Fridays. So, and it'll kind of be like the beginning of the week. So from now on, we're gonna look at the beginning of the week, starting fresh Monday, and then we're gonna give our thoughts for the rest of the week. And then Friday, when we chart Fridays, um, we're gonna talk about what happened in the market and why, and blah 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 blah. So I'm gonna try and make this video as quick as possible, just because um, I kind of got the shits right now. So I'm trying. I don't know, like what's. I don't know. Maybe my body is like in a cleanse or some shit like that. Um, just like I said in my last video, I've been going to the gym recently, and yeah, so I've been taking a lot more protein powder and creatine and pre workouts and a bunch of shit. So, um, and all of a sudden, I gotta take a shit. So. So yeah, if you guys are wondering what I'm wearing, I'm currently wearing my robe right now. It's super cold in my room, and I don't have a heater. Um, so yeah, so I'm wearing my robe right now. Um, and I'm still cold. I'm still freezing and sore in my hands. But I'm gotta make these videos for you guys. So let's get started on ES. So on the previous video, we left this here. Um, so like how we said, just to kind of get more familiar on, or not familiar, just to know where we're at when we charted, um, to the next charting video. I'm now making these little lines and ending them the next day. So yeah, anyways, so we drew this line here. ES finally made the move yesterday and today. So we get that nice pop and a hit TP all the way to where we said it was going to hit. So made that line. Price broke out and then hit the profit target, which is at a resistance level. And now it looks like it can maybe base out, maybe keep on running. Um, like I always say in the videos, I don't know what else is going to happen. We're going to have to wait for more structure, but this could reject. This could this could reclaim and bounce. We don't know. Let's take a look at NQ. NQ probably the same thing. Once again, I'm not too sure once we made this. Oh, okay. I believe. Okay, so our yellow levels are dip buys. So I believe we had our dip buy level here. The only thing is I don't know where. Like I said, I can't go based off of those big lines. I need lines like that. And actually, I think, okay, so I just noticed this right here. So we made this, um, and I'm assuming that we said to the upside and take profit is right here at this pink level. And that's exactly what happened. So if you held the trade from here, I believe this is when we recorded the video on Wednesday. Um, and then, hold it on all the way up until today for ODTE, you would have hit TP. Um, and what I mean by hold, I know some of you guys might be like, hey, like, what do you mean hold? Like, my broker or my funded account, blah, 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 whatever you trade on for futures. You guys must be like, oh, like, how am I supposed to hold? They don't let me hold over after hours. You can still trade the futures with options. They're just called different names. So if you got a pen, pencil, whatever, piece of paper, or your notes, and if you guys don't know this, ES, the ETF for ES, is SPY. So SPY. That is the one to trade the ES futures. For NQ futures, to trade options on that one, it's called QQQ. For YM, that one is DIA. I don't know why I blanked out. Um, I was thinking of RTY. but it's a DIA. Um, that's for YM, so the Dow, and then for the Russell 2000, so which is RTY, it is IWM, and you can see it on if you follow my cursor, you can see it right here. So SPY, QQQ, IWM, and DIA. So yeah, that's how you can hold them overnight, and they're super cheap, by the way. They're probably like $100 a contract, so they are very cheap. So anyway, so yeah, NQ basically did the same thing. Instead, it had a tighter base. It looked like so we see from here, and then right at the open, from today's open, you can see it bounced from that. Oops, you can see that it bounced from that level perfectly multiple times. So as you can see from right from the open, it shot right up, went right back down. Maybe you guys could have gotten an entry right here, 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 and take it all the way to there. So anyways, let's go to YM. I feel I feel a shit brewing up right now, so I'm trying to speed this up. Okay, so as we can see here, okay, once again, I don't know when I made these lines, so I'm gonna have to remove them. Um, okay, so we see that YM is currently trending up. Um, so one thing I noticed right off the bat is that not only that it's trending upwards, but we do see that it's doing a healthy trend, meaning as in like it's going up and then coming back for the retest and then making higher highs. So yeah, so as we can see from here, if we just take a look at this mark, this can be our dip buy level. Um, our dip buy, and we do have a nice little base, so we can do either dip buy there, and then our entry if it doesn't hit our dip buy, and then take profit is right here. And this is a very nice one. I really like this one. Um, so yeah, YM, very nice one. Multiple entries, healthy trend upwards, so it's a clear trade. Will it go your way? Maybe, maybe not. Nobody knows. So let's do RTY, most likely the same thing. So RTY is basically similar. So we just kind of move this. So basically the same exact thing. Except the only thing it's already near its high, its resistance. So I would say YM is more likely the better one to choose from. But these are both very good ones. So yeah, I would say same thing, dip by here. So let's do that, dip by there. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. RTY, oil, nothing much going on with oil. Still doing its thing, going in between these two lines. Let's move on. Gold. Okay. So I believe we said dip buys here. Let's see. Okay. Let me look really quickly to see what day I made that video on, just so I can see where exactly um I'm talking about. So 2 days ago, 2 days ago, so on the 4th, I believe. On the 3rd, okay. So on the 3rd, that was, okay, Wednesday. So we said, okay, I do remember this one a little bit. So we said right here would be your dip buy, and that's exactly what happened. So we get our dip buy right here, and then, it never came back to this level. It just kept trending upwards. Um, so yeah, this was also a very nice trade. And if you held this one overnight, let it play out, this would have hit well over take profit all the way up here. Um, so it basically hit perfectly. But if you're also again, once again, some of you guys might be like, "Oh, what do you mean by holding it?" What I mean by holding it, there's also an ETF for gold, which is called GLD. So that is the ETF where you can trade options for gold, and they're also very cheap as well. Um, so yeah, but those of you trading futures, your entry would be right here. This is 10 o'clock at night. I don't know who would be trading at that time. Definitely not me. Usually, if I were to trade, it's between around 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. to about 8 p.m. Or if I do want to trade and I have full confidence in this level, I would put a buy order there and then, follow my take profit levels. So, anyways, yeah. So, as you can see, it reacted perfectly. So, we see intraday, you hit two TP levels, and it made highs, or it made a high, and it stayed at pre-market high. Um, so yeah, there's that. Nothing much else. Just we get our dip buy entry, and it's still pretty valid. Um, we're still in that base type formation. So yeah, nothing much else. Let's just remove these. And I actually just saw something. Correct this bar. What does that mean? Okay. I think it's just to mess with it. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. XOK. What the hell? Maybe it could be. All right, let's do correct this bar. Is there like any type? Okay, no, there's nothing. Okay. Uh, so it's trending upwards. I don't see much going on here, besides just trending upwards. Let's move on to something else. My stomach is burning, really bad right now, guys. So I'm gonna try and speed this up a lot more. CRM, we call this all the way down here in its demand zone, and it is currently $32 from where we originally caught it. So imagine if you took a contract for 2 weeks out all the way up until now. That is a lot of money. That is a beautiful trade. There was so much reward in this ticker, guys. Um, but as of now, no more moves. Um, so let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft was another very nice one that we said as well. So Microsoft, we said this on the third, which was okay, which was here. It did bounce off that level. Now we're just waiting, for it to climb right back up. Hopefully reclaim that 494. But if you did take this trade all the way at the bottom, 476 to 482, that's a nice move from Microsoft. That would have probably made you about $300, maybe a lot more. But just minimum, I would say $300 on just one contract alone. But I'm sure it's a lot more than that. But we did get this move right, at least for now. It hasn't hit TP yet, but it's still playing out perfectly, exactly how I'd want it to play out. So let's look at something else. Let's look at Apple. Apple, we didn't say much about Apple. It's near all-time highs, and like we said, it's most likely going to be a short, and that's exactly what happened. It's starting to sell. But maybe we could see some buying pressure along this level. So let me just make a white line because I'm neutral about it. This can either go one or two ways. Either it'll go up or it'll just break right below. So I'm more neutral about it, and I definitely wouldn't take a trade on that. At least yet, or at least at all. I mean, if I were to take that trade, it'd be all the way up here. Um, so yeah, nothing from Apple. Let's look at Google. Nothing much from Google. Um, Maybe we could get some type of pop around this level, but just the same thing. We're at all-time highs. I wouldn't trade the upside. I'd go for shorts. Um, but if I were to do another short, it'd be at this 331 or 332 level at its previous all-time high, which is here, and that's where I take my short entry. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Oracle. Oracle. So we said our dip buy was on this level right here, and that played out perfectly. We see right here would have been our other entry as well, and take profit is right here. And as we can see today, it hit both of those targets, so this would have played out perfectly. So from 209 to 218, nearly a $10 move. So that was a good ticker to trade. Netflix. So Netflix, this one's a pretty tough one. We said for Netflix that most likely it can bounce up, I believe, because there's some type of, yeah. So we were at some type of support level, and it obviously blew right down, right below. We're not gonna get them all, so there's that. So yeah, it just didn't go our way. It's just trending downwards. So now my full expectations are it's gonna keep going down. Um, so maybe our next short, if you really wanted to take a short, I would say probably this level right here. So let's mark that red. But once again, I probably wouldn't trade this just because it already went down a lot. So let's move on. that was Netflix. Let's move on to Meta. Meta, we didn't say anything, at least as what I think. Um, Nothing much still. I wouldn't trade this at all. It already broke from its resistance right here on this level. So I wouldn't trade this at all. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't trade that. Move's already done. Wait for a pullback. IBM. IBM, I'm not too sure what we said here. We have a white line. Maybe I said either or direction, but once again, I don't know. Let's just delete this level so I don't get confused. What do I see in IBM? Maybe some type of break right here. So right here, we see build up. So let's just put this green. Maybe I'm thinking more of a long position. Where are we at? We're near all-time highs. So maybe not. Maybe I would say more of a neutral level. So let's change this to white. And some of you guys might be thinking like, oh, like, why did you say what you said and then now you change your opinion? That's just how the market is, you know. Sometimes you see one thing like how we see on the 4 hour. Oh, this looks nice. And it looks like it's trending upwards and it's building pressure to this resistance level. But, you know, once we look at the bigger picture, we see that we are near all-time highs. So that's why I changed my bias. You know, you can't just be stuck to one thing just because you see something. So you gotta give levels both ways of the market. Even if it looks good going up or going down, it's still good to get both levels just in case. Amazon. Let's look at Amazon. So we said our dip buy is right here. I believe that's what we said. But just to make it more clear, let's remove this. Let's do that right there. Hit it, make this gold. Okay. So this is our dip buy. So we said last time, last video, right here is a nice dip buy. And that's exactly what happened. We see price came back to this level, reacted perfectly, and then it looks like it's trying to bounce above. So this is a very good one. I would trade this. Take profits. Let's see. Let's make our take profit levels. Okay, take profit would be here. And then let's go right here. And then right there. So let's just make these pink. Okay, there you go. Or what you can do as well, this can be your entry as well, and then take profit over there. Anything after this would be a trail. So yeah, there's that. So let's move on. Nvidia. So we said rejection from this level. Obviously hasn't happened yet. It could happen soon or not at all. Same thing. I'm more neutral. This is a very good buy level. Seems like. It seems like it can't really break below this level. Um, but I'm still leaning towards shorts just because it still hasn't really done anything. But this can go both ways. Let's look at TSM. Okay, so TSM we said buy level. Our dip buy level is right here, and that's exactly what happened. So it obviously went below our dip buy level, but it closed above the level and it shot right up the next day, which was today. So we said So we said our dip buy was right here. So imagine if you bought here at this 292 level and then you sold it all the way up to $300. So that is a, what was it, 292? An $8 move. Nice move. Let's move on to the next one. AMD. Oops. I don't know why I'm putting the N in. AMD. So we said it did buy on this level. Still what's going on. Let's just move that right there. This one is definitely still valid. This is a nice one. Um, and our take profits right there, or at least near it. But take profits right there, nice level. So I'm still same levels. I still think that this is the dip buy, and TP is at that pink level. What is going on with my mouse? Ugh, I have like this like gooey stuff. Pause. on my mouse. Um, I need, it's like those little grip thingies that go onto the mouse, and I've had it for years, and it's finally like coming off of the mouse, and it's leaving all the residue on it, and it's bugging me a lot. It sticks to my hand or my fingers, and it gets very annoying. Okay, anyways, we said dip by right here for QCOM, and then our entry from right here. It's still very risky to enter from there, just because this is resistance. Like I always said, I don't like to get in at the top, but you can get in at the top, which is right here, which is why I gave you that level. Would I get in at the top? No. What I mean by that is I just wouldn't buy it here all the way at the top and just hold it. If I were to buy at the top, I'd trail it right away. Um, so if you look at here, if I would have bought it here, I would have been trailing and I would have taken profit. Anyways, um, so yeah, but my entry, if I were to buy the top, is if it broke out, retested, and that's when I would buy there. Anyways, nothing much going on, same levels. Let's look at something else. MU. So we said right here is our dip buy. Same thing, played out very nice. Obviously, it didn't go exactly on the levels that we said, but it still reacted off this line. And it looks like we're still trying to trade above, which is very good. So keep the same levels. AVGO. AVGO, nothing much, nothing worth trading. Um, yeah, nothing much. Let's move on. XLV. Okay, so we said resistance here. I believe that was a while ago, and I think nothing much going on. But maybe right here we got a retest there. So maybe we can see some upside here. So maybe this can be my dip level. But we did come from all-time high resistance. So maybe this can blow right past it. So my bias now changes to neutral. And I would say my dip buy would be right here, regardless of where it came from. So yeah, I would say dip by there, and the white level is neutral. So yeah, let's move on. XLV, J&J. So seeing that the health sector was trending downwards or hit resistance, most likely everything else is going to be the same. So right here, this can be our dip buy level once again, or this can be our neutral one. But it just depends on how the sector wants to be. So if the sector breaks below its support, same thing with all the other health tickers as well. Let's go to Pfizer. Pfizer, nothing much. Maybe some type of break right here on this level. I just wouldn't trade this. Let's take a look at UNH. So we said UNH dip buy right here, and that's exactly what happened. We get that nice pop, and then we also get the test, and then it bounced right back up. So if you were to get in right there, 328 all the way for 333, that is a nice level. And then it just looks like we're trading above, heading right back down. So once again, if its sector wants to push down, then this is going to push down as well, or not. It doesn't have to, but from my experience, it's usually how it goes. When was this? Okay, let's delete this. Nothing much going on for the financial sectors. It's near resistance, so I just wouldn't get in unless it's for shorts. Same thing. Once again, I can't really give out much of anything just because of these stupid lines that the platform does. Goldman Sachs. Okay, so we set a short from this area. Obviously, it didn't go our way. It just kept going up. Uh, so it kept going up. So nothing much there. Or, however, this could be a new retest level since we broke out of that resistance. But, it's very hard or very difficult to trade the upside when you're at all-time highs. So let's look at something else. V, nothing much. MA, nothing much. I think we just said dip buy at this level. That's exactly what happened. And now we get that test right on that level. So as long as we can keep holding above this dip buy level, then we're going to keep continuing to trend upwards. Go to Jets. Nothing much for Jets. But it is trending upwards a lot. So maybe most likely the other airline tickers are probably going to be the same thing. So that's Jets. Let's take a look at LUV. LUV. Yep, like I said, everything's probably going to be trending upwards. So we get it right here. Basically, this resistance level. I'd go in for shorts, but at the same time, there's a lot of pressure, so I probably wouldn't get in yet. But it's more of a risky move, I would say. But I also wouldn't blame you if you were to get in on that. You know, that is a very nice one to look at. DAL, nothing much. Boeing, nothing much. Um, yeah, nothing much. Maybe if we can get some type of break out of that level, that'll be nice. Let's just take a look at the 15 just to get a smaller picture of it. Um, Same thing, you know, it made a huge move already, so it is more difficult to trade the upside just because it made that huge move. But most likely there could be some type of pop in this area, so I would say maybe longs. But like I said, it made a huge move already, so maybe it might base out for longer. Let's move on. UAL. So we said for UAL resistance right here. That's exactly what happened. So if you were to get in here 109, sell it all the way at 104 or 105, that is a very nice trade. Perfect trade. It hit resistance and then it just shot right down. Rejected. Sorry. So let's move on to the energy sector. XLE. XLE, same thing. It's doing that dumb candle. So yeah, nothing much for XLE. Like I said, we don't really trade this one. Actually, I lied. This one is a very nice one to look at. So looking at this, you see it's trending upwards. Trend line isn't going to be perfect, guys, by the way. And we see resistance right here on this level. So soon, if we keep getting the healthy uptrend, we could see a pop from that level. So let's go ahead and mark the screen. And there we go. So that could be nice. XOM. XOM, same exact thing. Trending upwards. Trending upwards. And could get some type of break from that area. Like I said, trend lines aren't going to be perfect. You're not going to get them right on the dot, but if you could just get a general idea of what you're looking at, then you know you're totally fine. But this is a very nice one to trade. Um, so we're getting a healthy trend. So let's look at CVX, probably the same thing, similar, but it's more towards the bottom. And if we can see here from what we said, the other charting video is we said we were going to get rejection from this level, and that's exactly what we got. So 152, 150, $2 move, nice move. Um, so yeah, this one it's trending. It's kind of sideways as of now. So if you just take a look at this, it's kind of sideways. So yeah, look at this. This was trending upwards, and then it broke that trend, and now it's just trading sideways. So I probably wouldn't trade this one. Well, let's take a look at Shell. Shell, same thing, right there. Um, like I said, I don't trade Shell. I'm probably gonna take that one off. I don't know what happened yet. ARC, we said a pop right there, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. So we get that pop, and would have been a nice trade. I believe we said take profits right there. So most likely everything under the ARC sector is probably going to be similar. So let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla did the exact same thing. Perfect trade. We get our resistance there. What did I say? Did buy it there? What's going on? I wonder if this happened on the third. Uh, I think where did we make this video on the third? Okay, I think we made it around this level. Okay, so I believe on Thursday the 4th. That's okay. So yeah, we set our dip buy here. So I think it already broke out when I made this chart, and we said some type of dip buy here, and I probably wouldn't trade this unless it hits that dip buy. So once again, wouldn't trade unless it hits this area. Let's move on. I believe coin is next. We said dip buys on that level. This could be valid depending on where pre-market wants to open. But yeah, um, as we see yesterday, it actually hit this level and nearly hit take profit. But remember, guys, um, we did say you always want to take profit usually at the previous highs or pre-market high if it starts trending upwards from the bottom. So we see here it hit our dip buy area, and then it started going up, it started pushing up. My take profit would be right there. So if I were to get in from 271, my take profit would be 278 or 279. Um, so yeah, or if you have multiple contracts, you'd sell some and then trail. So yeah, that's how I'd play that. So yeah, that one worked out very nice. Let's look at Roblox. Roblox, so we get that dip buy, and it was a perfect, beautiful trade. I believe last time we said this is probably going to be a very nice trade, and that's exactly what happened. As we can see here, this was previous resistance and turned support, bounce, bounce, and then we get that push, and we might be trending upwards towards this take profit level. But once again, I probably would have taken profit. So we get a tight base during pre-market. So my entry would be right here, most likely, and I would probably take it to right about there. So it's previous high, or right below pre-market from the previous day, which would be this 93. So 92 to 93, almost nearly a $2, $2 move. So good move from there. If you caught this whole thing, congratulations. But that's not the way I would do it, unless I got contracts for weeks out. But I would say intraday, that is a nice one to take for a day trade. Same thing from here. Um, so as we can see, it's still trying to break out for shop. So maybe we could get that breakout very soon. So yeah, nothing much else going on for shop. That's all what I see as of now. Let's look at Plantier. Same exact thing. So, and this would be a very nice trade to take today. So why do I say that? Because I see that with this was a resistance level, price was building pressure, and that it ended up breaking out of that resistance. And it not only that, but it tested. This is why I say I would hold these long term on these levels once it breaks out and tests the break. Just because this is a very perfect trade. So we see it broke out. Okay, you didn't get an entry there. Okay, tomorrow I'll get an entry. And it just happened to be also pre-market low on the dip buy level. This resistance and turn support. So dip buy level. And then you ride this all the way, I would say, to pre-market high. And so, yeah, you get that move from 177 to 179, which is a very nice trade. And you get that within 30 minutes of your entry. And not only that, if you really wanted to take that trade, this already confirmed it, you know? This already confirmed the uptrend. So like I said, we broke out of this level and we tested it and we bounced from this level. We reclaimed this level. So you could get your entry, your second entry on pre-market high. And that's exactly what happened, and it started trending upwards again. So most likely, the next day, it's probably going to continue that uptrend since it's already confirmed. But it also depends on how the market wants to be. But this has a very good amount of strength. So Plantier was a nice trade, definitely one of the best ones. Disney, again, we said dip buy on this level, and look what's going on. Perfect. You can hold this. Buy a couple contracts out. Buy contracts that are weeks out for this level. Um, and your take profit would be here. Let's mark it just to give you guys the exact example. But our take profit would be this level, and then our second one would be this level, and then anything above that would be a trail. You know, it's very simple. This stuff is very easy. And just charting, doing this every day for, I guarantee you guys, if you chart like this every single day, Monday, or sorry, not every single day, a Monday through Friday, you're within 3 months, I guarantee you, you're gonna see things the way I see things. If not, maybe even better. You know, I have my own system already. You guys can make your own system the way you see things. But the way I learned is I put in my own system, and this is just how I trade now, which works perfectly fine. As you can see, I lose some, but I win some as well. You know, like I always say, you're not going to win 100% of the times. I probably have about a 70 to 80% win rate. Is it always like that? No. Some weeks I have 50%, some weeks I have 20%, but most weeks, a majority, I would say my average would be probably between 60 to 80% would probably be the average. Um, but yeah, market reacts however it wants to react. I'm not always right. So that's just something that you guys have to get used to when trading on your own. So another thing we see right here, we get that break. Would I trade this? Probably not, because there was just a huge wick all the way down here. Um, Maybe if you caught this right here at this level, that would have been definitely a nice trade. Um, but that's more for experienced trader. But just me personally, if I would have seen this, I still wouldn't have gotten in, just because the immense selling pressure from that level. So yeah, but not only that, to be honest, those don't scare me. Um, I see those as falling knives, meaning as an aggressive move to the downside, like this, and then it'll just pop right back up. And these are the most rewarding trades because you're getting at the very bottom and taking profit at the very top. But those, I would I would say, don't take those type of trades unless you're experienced, because these will fuck you up. And I know from experience, like it didn't have to. Like obviously, we said right here, once it breaks out of this level, retest, and it will continue the continuation. Obviously it didn't test, otherwise we wouldn't have had this wick. I mean, it did test and it did go up, but it didn't stay at that level. Or it didn't bounce exactly at that level. It went all the way down there and then ended up going up. So yeah, so you could have said, okay, here's your falling knife or here's your dip buy, and then you get smoked and be like, what the hell? I thought you said this is a dip buy, perfect. Like I said, guys, market isn't always going to go your way. Market does whatever the hell it wants. So don't beat yourself up just because you got a level wrong or just because it went below a level. That's just how it is. So other than that, it's trending upwards. I wouldn't get in on this. It's already near all-time highs, or I believe all-time highs. Let's take a look at lows. Well, we said right here, a break of that resistance level, and we can see today it finally broke out of that level. Um, so as I would probably say, let's get some type of retest on this level. And as soon as it touches this level, I'm in for longs. This is a very beautiful trade. Um, but yeah, or pre-market, go based off of pre-market levels. Those two are the way I do things. So let's look at Home Depot. Nothing much for Home Depot. Just the last time we said, right here's your dip buy, and from 332, if you held that all the way at 350, great move. So now let's look at Target. Target, we said dip buy from this level. It got near it. It didn't touch it. Or sorry, no. I believe that level's wrong because that was the second. So yeah, other than that, I probably wouldn't take a trade. We'd probably get some type of resistance here. So maybe a break from this level right there. And yeah, that would be my trade. This is I would say, a very nice level. Let's keep it going. Almost done. Walmart, wouldn't touch it. It already went up a ton. No need to touch. Get things at the bottom, not at the top. PayPal, nothing much. It is at the bottom. I just still wouldn't trade this. Not enough structure for me to trade this yet. XYZ. XYZ. Nothing much going on. Wouldn't trade. Uh, Starbucks, S-Bucks. Nothing much. Yeah, nothing much. I would say maybe here some resistance. So just to give you guys something, my mark would be right there. But we'll keep this level white. But that's gonna be it. So right here, the white level, that's neutral. So that's gonna be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys learned something, and I'll get back to you guys tomorrow or Monday. Sorry. So see you guys later.